what's up YouTube? Comic Freak for Life here, and today I'm making a video on the new set which is coming out today, which is the Dragons of Legend set. Now, most people have heard about this set. It's a really awesome set, and it's going to change the game as we know it. As most of you know, that Primal Origins is coming out in a couple of weeks, and that set is also a big game changer. If you guys haven't seen my last video about the YCS Las Vegas and why it doesn't matter, if you haven't, please check that out. It's on my YouTube channel. And in that video, I explained that the top decks were Mermails and Yugiohs at that YCS. But the reason that it doesn't matter is that this set and the new set Primal Origins, which will be coming out in a couple of weeks, are going to completely change everything for the rest of the format. And it really won't matter what did well in those formats, because there's so much new stuff that's going to change everything that it won't really matter what did well in that format. So, I'm going to go over the first couple of cards in Dragons of Legend and tell you guys what I think is going to make better, and some little ideas and tips that this set is just going to bring about. So first off, we have the card Curry Bandit. It says, during the end phase, if this card was normal summon this turn, you can tribute this card. Excavate the top 5 cards of your deck. You can add 1 excavated spell or trap card to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. So this card is pretty dang good. It has 1,000 attack, 700 defense. It's a fiend, and it's a dark. And you can run in a lot of decks. I asked one of my acquaintances working at Frank & Sons at multi-monster deals what he would be playing after the set comes out, and he said zombies. That made me actually think about it. But first, I'm going to go over the rest of the cards, and then I'm going to get to actually what decks I think will make them better. So Curry Bandit actually would help zombies. But the second card that's coming out, one of the big game changers, is called Mathematician. It's Earth Spellcaster with 1500 attack, and he says when this card is normal summoned, you can send 1 level 4 lower monster from your deck to the graveyard. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. So this can be good in a lot of decks. You can send, let's say in Dragons, you can send Whitestone of Legend to the grave to add a Blue Eyes to your hand. You can send any number of things. You can send one of those small tuners, any level 4 lower monster, you can send to the graveyard with this card. You can run it in zombies, send Mizuki, Plague Spreader. You can send a lot of things. Necrogardna. There's so many things you can send to the graveyard with this card, and you get to draw a card if it's destroyed by battle. It's just an extra plus. Now the big card we've all been talking about is Soul Charge, which says target any number of monsters in your graveyard, special summon them, and if you do, you lose 1,000 life points for each monster special summoned by this effect. And you cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card, and you can only activate 1 per turn. So, it's pretty much a Monster Reborn on crack, but you have to pay 1,000 life points for each monster, and you cannot conduct your battle phase for the rest of the turn. Now, regardless of the life point paying, this card is amazing, and a lot of people are going to be running this in 3s. Now, people were saying, oh, this is broken, blah, 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 and some people are like, oh, that's stupid, you have to pay 1,000 life points for each. This card is not, the cost is not that big of a deal. I had one person describe it to me. Most people are going to special like maybe 2 monsters from their graveyard, and that's like pretty much a Solemn Warning. When Solemn Warning was at 3, people ran 3 Solemn Warnings because it was such a good card. It's going to be the same thing. Paying 2,000 life points for a warning is just no different than paying 2,000 life points for a Soul Charge. You can special 2 monsters, go into an Exceed, go into a Synchro, establish a board, and it's just really, really good all around. So this card, everyone's going to be running it in 3s, and it will bring up another thing I'm going to be talking about, a little idea I have based on this card, or around this card. But this video is going to end up being a long kind of video, because I'm going to go over everything. And then the next card, the Fire and Ice Hands. The Fire Hand is 1,600 attack, 1,000 defense. It's a Pyro Fire monster. It says when this card is in your possession, it is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effects, and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 monster they control. Destroy that target, then you can special summon 1 Ice Hand for your deck. And then the Ice Hand is 1,400 attack, 1,600 defense, and a Water Aqua. And when this card is in your possession, it is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or card effect, and sent to the grave. You can target one spell or trap card they control. Destroy that target, then you special one fire hand from your deck. So they are pretty much a guy that just brings each other out, and they destroy a monster or a spell or trap, depending on which one it is. They're both decent, and they're both fire and water. So I see this run. You can actually technically run this in Elemental Dragons. I would not be surprised if someone ran that in Elemental Dragons. You can banish them for Tidal and Blaster, and also they just special each other and destroy spells and traps. And they have decent amount of attack points. It seems pretty good to me. And the last card is Wiretap. When a trap card is activated, negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card into the deck. So it's pretty much a 7 tools you don't have to pay for. It's a counter trap, so you can negate Solemn Warnings, Skill Drains, Torrentials, Bottomlesses, Mirror Forces, whatever. The only thing different about this card than 7 tools is you don't pay 1,000, but this card returns that card to their deck. So you'll still have to play around a Torrential. Let's say if you Wiretap a Torrential, they'll still have it sent back into their deck, so they may draw it again. Maybe you have to worry about that. Those are all of the big main cards that you can pretty much run in anything that I think were the most prevalent. So Curry Bandit, what I was thinking is really, really good. In Sylvans, Revealing 5, Excavating 5, Excavating 5, say 4 of those are Sylvans, 3 of those are Sylvans, and the other 2 are spell or trap cards. Not only do you get to add the spell or trap to your hand, you get to excavate those cards and they get their effects, which I think is amazing, especially in those Sylvans. And it can work in so many other decks. Dragons, you can excavate the top 5 cards, add anything from a Dragon Shrine, or let's say an MST if you're siding. There's so many things. Cards of Consonance, Trade-In, there's so many cards you can add. Skill Drain, their spells and traps. And then you get to send the rest to the grave. So pick a spell or trap and then send the rest to the grave. They could be dragons. Add 2, 3 dragons to your grave and get to add a card to your hand. That seems pretty good. And it doesn't say anything about not being able to attack or special summon. So you can not only do all that stuff, but you can also get his effect. I think it's an amazing card. It can work in zombies, milling, plague spreaders, and Mizukis, and malicious, and pretty much all those other cards. If you play Lightsworn, some weird chaos build, you can put it like Eclipse Wyvern. There's a lot of things that this can work with. This card is really cool. I like it. It works in a lot of decks, and I can't wait to see it being played in different things. And then Mathematician, like I said previously, you can play in zombies. You can send Mizuki, send Plague Spreader. You can send a Whitestone of Legend for dragons. The list goes on and on. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but that's a really, really cool card. And you get to draw a card when it's destroyed by battle. Soul Charge, like I said, you can special 2 monsters, 4 monsters if you want. Special that, pay that life points, and then exceed, like say, into 2 Draco Sacks. If you have all the dragons in your grave, pay 4,000, special 2 Draco Sacks, pop 2 cards. And have 2 Draco Sacks seems pretty good to me. Keep on going if you want to synchro for anything else. Also, you can use this card to maybe special like level 10 monsters, go into Gustav Maxes. You can do stuff like that. There's a lot of like really OP, hard to go into, like 3 level 9s or 3 level 10 monsters that you can easily go into with this card if you get them in your graveyard, and go into that giant Exceed that can't die or whatever. Seems pretty good to me. The other thing that I was thinking of, I actually want to wait and find out, with the Soul Charge, if people are going to be constantly activating these and paying lots of life points, I feel that Burn may be a good deck to play during the format, because if someone's activating 1, 2, 3 Soul Charges paying thousands of life points, they're pretty much doing your work for you, especially game 1. So they pay maybe 2,000 life points, 4,000 life points. Let's say they went for a really big play, special 4 monsters, and they pay 4,000 of life points. If you have 2 Just Desserts, and a special 4 monsters, that's 2 Just Desserts, which is 2,000 each. 4,000 is game, they already paid 4,000. So I feel that Burn may be actually a good deck to run, especially with this card being prevalent. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm actually going to be playing at locals, seeing how much life points people are paying, and seeing if it's actually viable. Like I said, the Fire and Ice hand is cool, just cards that are good on their own. Put 3 Fire hand, 3 Ice hand, keep specialing them, and if somehow they stop the effect, maybe they get removed or they get banished or overlaid or something like that. You have 5 others in your deck. You can easily get one of them and keep going. And Wiretap is just a really good generic negate your trap card. So that's just a card you can run in any deck. Now I don't advise you to run 3 Wiretap into everything, because a lot of times you see there are good cards and people just run a bunch of these like negation cards, and then they don't draw any monsters or anything that do anything, and they just end up having a bunch of like dark bribes and wiretaps and whatever else, and they can't do anything because they're just waiting for you to negate something. So use it in moderation. See what you might want to run it in, what deck needs to stop certain trap cards to be good, and put it in your deck, innovate. And there's a lot of other amazing cards in this set. There's a couple that like do things when Synchro is destroyed, stuff like that. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but there's just so much innovation that can be going on with this set that I'm really excited to see what people do and what people think up, and just to make this game more diverse. Now I'm just really hoping that it doesn't get stupid like the dragon format was when we had the baby dragons, and everyone was just like, well, if you don't have this deck, you pretty much lose. Because I remember playing that format. I played like Dark Worlds when Compulse was at 3, Torrential and Mirror Force were at 2. I ran 3 Compulse, 3 Torrential, or 2 Torrential, 2 Mirror Force, Bottomless, I think it was at 2, and I run the Dark Worlds. Instead of the Upstarts and the Reckless Greeds, I ran those trap cards. So once they go to a Dracosac or a Big Eye, you go Compulse, Torrential, Compulse, Bottomless, all those things, Mirror Force, and then when you get rid of all this stuff, you go Grapha, Attack for Game, stuff like that. There's just so much good stuff, and when Primal Origins comes out, I'm going to say the same thing, that it doesn't matter because this new set is coming out. It's going to change everything. But that's another video for another topic for another video for another day. So let me know what you guys think about this new set. Do you think this is going to help the format, make it more diverse, more even? Do you think that this set is just retardedly stupid and broken, and that it's not going to be any more fun to play Yu-Gi-Oh? And you might as well quit, because Konami is making this game go to crap. Well, that's your opinion, so please leave that opinion in the comments section. Also, if you have any ideas of combos or decks that these cards could work well with, also leave a comment. I'd love to hear about it. I'm sure the other people watching this video would love to hear your suggestions and your comments about this new set and the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! So thanks a lot, guys. This is Common Free for Life, keeping it real. Signing out.